Live from the City of Angels, Sunday morning. It is midnight movie time, and we have the results in for Jurassic World Rebirth. It ended up with a very similar debut to Dominion going back 3 years ago. That film debuted worldwide 319. This film, and you can see it here, 318. Difference is, Dominion was pretty much a 3-day debut. This is a 5-day. Okay, when we look at this film, you're looking at $91.5 million on the 3-day domestic stateside debut, and then the 5-day gets up to $147.3 million. Big Saturday, Friday was the 4th. Saturday popped big to push this higher than initial forecasts had it in the 80s. So Universal obviously is thrilled because you're talking about a worldwide debut of $318 million. In fact, let's go directly to the Universal email here on this Sunday morning. Thanks for being here, as always, with Midnight Movie Money, and we have it at, you can see, the start domestic. Let's go with that first. It is the third highest opening weekend of 2025 behind a Minecraft movie and Lilo and Stitch. That is stateside, okay? The fourth highest July 4th opening weekend, 5-day of all time, behind Twilight, The Eclipse, Transformers, Dark of the Moon, and Spider-Man. Then you go back and you look at the fourth highest July 4th opening weekend, 5-day of all time. Again, same thing. Like I just said, I'm repeating myself. Let's go to international then, because I think that's important, because this is the biggest opening weekend of the year internationally. When you look at $171 million, the only film that did better is Ne Zha. Okay, that's the Chinese animation film that I liked a lot. This got some kick-ass animation in that film. It was out earlier this year here stateside. But aside from that, this is doing crazy numbers in China. So that is another reason why we keep getting these films. As you go and you look here at, in China, Jurassic World Rebirth, $5.5 million in IMAX alone there this weekend. And as a total overall, $41.5 million for the weekend, the biggest MPA, that means stateside, domestic, film opening of the year in China, even counting just the 3-day growth. Gross make that. Jurassic World Rebirth dominated the box office, a competitive market, massive 45% market share at number one. So this is all positive when you look at it, certainly internationally. And I go to Deadline for some of the nuts and bolts here stateside. And you look at the IMAX, that was not owned by Jurassic World Rebirth. That was F1 who had those screens. So Dolby ended up picking up the slack with the highest grossing 4th of July weekend in history for that format, Dolby Cinema, repping close to 6% of the picks opening weekend, and it booked at 167 Dolbys. And you look at it, I mean, that is where a lot of people want to see these big tent poles, right? IMAX, Dolby, Prime, 4DX, RDX, all those things that you have near you, the upcharge screens. Again, if you have AMC A-List, you don't have to worry about that. It's all included. When you look at the locations here in the United States where it did better than others, it did really well down in Florida at Disney Springs. It was the number one location overall. Top markets, LA, New York, Dallas, Houston, San Francisco, Chicago, Phoenix, Atlanta, Orlando, and D.C. AMC had 22% of the share this weekend, Regal 18%, and Cinemark 16.8%. And those are your top three, so that makes a whole lot of sense. Another thing that helped, I think, this weekend is the Odyssey teaser. I did not see it yet. I forgot. I went to a movie yesterday. I saw the new A24 film, Sorry Baby. We'll talk about that tonight on the MMT evaluation. We'll do that live. But when you look at this trailer, it definitely pushed some people into the film, and I'm going to try to swing by and check that out here today, and we'll talk about that tonight. But that was another beneficial move for Universal. But again, I think when you look at this from the perspective of a success, obviously you're talking about a film that was $180 million to produce. So to be profitable, you've got to be $500 million north of that. And we should get there. We're at 300 already. This is nowhere near $1 billion like the last one, okay? Diminishing returns, we're going to see that. The film is not that great, okay? You go back, you look at that injection of that family. Wow, what a disaster. Basically takes the film down to a level of just cannot recover from that once we see Xavier and the family roll into that movie. Really bizarre decision. So, listen, it's not going to get to $1 billion. Guaranteed, okay? So that doesn't mean we're done. That's the thing is, when you have Jurassic World, the franchise, and Universal, these studios just cannot let these things go, because to create an original film at a $180 million budget and hope for profitability is next to impossible these days. So you go ahead and just keep doing the same thing. That's why we get this regurgitation of ideas and series, and it just gets old. But it doesn't matter, because when the numbers come in and you have people running off to the movies and seeing this, then you're going to get more of it, right? F1, an original film. People go, how is that? You guys, why can't people understand this? Then original film means that it was a screenplay written for the screen only. It's not from a book. Okay, F1's a sport, but last I checked, no one in the actual movie's real life based on a real person. Therefore, it's an original story. I'm tired of these discussions of people like, I don't understand what an original story is. That's because you're fucking dumb as hell. That's why. That's not my problem. That's you. That's a you problem, man. I'm tired of these discussions. Film Twitter. Oh, my God. I am, here, and this is why I'm getting a little salty right now. I'm not happy with the second weekend of F1 stateside, okay? International, very thrilled, because this is how it should have held here in the States. What are we doing here in the United States, y'all? Why aren't you all supporting this film? It was down 54% this weekend. I thought we could be in the 30s. Hell, 20s. Because guess what? International was minus 28. Why? Why didn't you support it? I know racing's not as big as it was in the past, right? I don't think I could even name 3 NASCAR drivers now. In the past, I could. When you had everybody, the big names, the Gordons and the Earnhardts and all that. Now, I don't know. I mean, Jimmy Johnson retired, right? I mean, NASCAR's not a big sport. Indy's not a big sport. F1's not huge over here at all. So this is probably why. But it doesn't matter. You don't need to be a racing fan. It's a great film. F1's the best directed film of the year. It's the best summertime film. It destroys Jurassic World. But again, this is why we get more Jurassic entries, because people want to watch that shit. Okay? Guys, I mean, listen, you see the line outside of McDonald's on a typical day. It's like around the block. People waiting to get their Big Macs and their fries. Fries are good. It's the only thing that's good there. But people in general, we think of them as being really intelligent and making good choices. Come on, man. The average American's like 50 pounds overweight. So they're going to go see Jurassic World. Just trust me, those two things do correlate. But when you look at F1, we're now looking at nearly 300 million on the worldwide, 293.6. And look, the international's at 184, the domestic's at 110. So this is exactly what we talked about last weekend. The international's going to take off. I just wish F1 could have held better stateside. Now, as far as it beating Superman, we talked about that last week. For that to happen, F1 would have had to hold at a 25-30%. It did not do that, so it's not going to happen. Superman is not going to do great numbers. We're going to talk about that tonight. The early review is out. You guys see that Daily Beast? We're going to discuss that. Wow. And guess what? Remember I told you guys people are telling me it's not very good? What did that review say? Exactly. I'm just telling you, just get ready. When Superman is not a fantastic film, that it's not getting anywhere near $1 billion. No chance, man. Zero chance of Superman get to $1 billion. So don't even think about it. Okay. So F1 will not beat Superman. Not now, not with what I'm seeing, because Americans in general have shit taste. Is that fair? I think it's fair. I think it is fair. I really do believe that the average person just doesn't, they want to keep doing the same shit over and over, and they don't have, listen, you talk about NPCs, right? People that don't have a lot of ideas in their brains. Imagine going through the world like not thinking all the time. Like I talk about this all the time. When I watch a movie, I'm not disengaged. I'm fully engaged watching every element and trying to evaluate everything at the same. It's not easy, okay? You have to be super dialed in. For most people, they're like, huh? What? You want butter on the popcorn? I don't know. Do I want? Hey, Janie, do we want butter on the popcorn? Well, oh, fine. Let's have it. Give me an extra push of that thing. I need to gain an extra 5 pounds because my pants already are a 42, for fuck's sake. Let's make them 44. That's what we're talking about, baby. Weber's savaging everyone here on this Sunday morning because I'm not happy about F1. It should be doing better. How to Train Your Dragons #3. As we look at that film, it is now at $500 million worldwide. So Universal will take that. Obviously, that's a big win. Again, could you create an original film that's going to get to $500 million? No, that's why they do these live action, because it's pretty much guaranteed cash. Except for Snow White. Well, we know why, okay? But when you look at most live actions, they hit and make the studio money. In some cases, Lilo and Stitch is now the #1 film globally this year. Not to $1 billion. I told you it wouldn't get to $1 billion. It's at $970-odd million right now. Elio's not holding as well as a lot of people expected it to, and I had a feeling it wouldn't hold well. You guys see that article when they were talking about how Elio was stripped of all of its natural beauty initially? It's basically a story of a boy who was gay, okay, Elio, and you can kind of see pieces of that in the film, but they stripped it all out because the test audiences were like, I don't want to watch this shit. Hollywood still hasn't learned the lesson, right? And now you end up with a film that's really completely forgettable. And look, it's down another 45%. For this to have done elemental numbers like some of the erroneous film Twitter clueless folks say, they don't have a clue. Good. I'm telling you, dudes, listen, how do you listen to someone from film Twitter who doesn't even go outside their house? Again, how do they decide what color hair they're going to go with today? Is it going to be rainbow, chartreuse? Let's think. Maybe we'll go with a magenta with a touch of fluorescent yellow. Fantastic. Let's go out in the world and let's go and sit down and consume Funko Pops, whatever those things are called. You know, I mean, it's just how you listen to those people. They're not even real. They don't even know what the real world's like. They don't interact with real people. They live in fantasy world. It's just not, that's not the people you should be listening to. You listen to someone who lives a normal life, who goes out and going to the beach to play volleyball all day, walk down the middle of a street shirtless. That's me, baby. Not these people with their chartreuse hair and their Funko Pops and their oversized plushie attached to their back. That's weird. These are weird people. Don't listen to those people. 28 years. You're like, isn't this supposed to be a box office show? This is what I'm saying. It is a box office show because I'm telling you, these people don't know what they're talking about because they're like, it's a subset of a subset. Why you listen to these people? They're weirdos. Don't listen to them. And I actually had weirdo friends in high school and stuff. I still have some friends that are a little strict, but I'm not, just that whole choice is just like, and the other thing, can I just say this since we're here on this Sunday and I feel like I'm not done yet. Couple seconds. Why is it that when people start to look like a little weird, they say, well, I'm already fucking weird looking. I'm going to go even further. Like, I'm already not attractive, so I'm going to make myself as unattractive as possible. Like, what's in the mindset there? Instead of, like, going the other way and course correct, maybe I should hit the gym. Maybe I should get a cool haircut. Maybe I should get out and really take care of myself and make myself... No, I'm going to go the other way and just sabotage everything, and that's exactly my appearance. It is a wild choice to me. I guess, I mean, it's the easier choice, but why don't you pick the harder choice? Speaking of the chartreuse-haired group, they probably thought 28 Years Later was a great film. It's not. It's one of the worst films of the year. Oh, my God, this film was horrible. I mean, truly. And I love me some Danny Boyle. We talked about that a million times. Don't take... Weber doesn't love... Everything. I always say Millions is his best film. And guess what he said? He said Millions is his best film. I know what I'm talking about. Even the chartreuse, rainbow, magenta-colored weirdos. I know more than them. Way more than them. All right, let's go to the top 10. That was the most random rant ever in the history of this channel. It's my channel. I'll do what I want. You want box office? You want to go watch Movie Math with Grace's 58 things on the side and how she... No. That's not how we do it. Jurassic World Rebirth Number one, 91.5 on the 3-5 day was 147.3. F1 down 54%. That is not good. I do not like to see that, and that makes me very sad here on this Sunday, hence the lashing out at the magenta-haired weirdos. How to Train Your Dragon is $500 million worldwide, number 3. Number 4 is Elio. And we already mentioned Elio not doing very well. Dude, the total on this film is $55 million domestic. So bad. For Pixar, wow. 28 years later is over $100 million worldwide. But remember, the budget on that was 60 to 80, somewhere in that range. So it's not going to hit profitability. And I just pray that the next one is watchable. Okay. And I guess Nia DaCosta's directing it. I really liked her work on Candyman. Anyone but Boyle after what I just watched. Boyle's in director's jail, right? You know, MMT, director's jail. It's like the Alcatraz they're building in Florida. Weber, how dare you say the alligator Alcatraz? You are an awful person. We're going to build one like that for directors, and Danny Boyle is in there along with Coppola. You also have Ridley Scott for Jurassic, for Gladiator 2. You've got all kinds of people in there. Michael Mann for Ferrari, for sure. He's in there on a short stay because Ferrari was somewhat watchable, but it's not a great film, and certainly from a directorial standpoint, nah. So he's in jail. He might be getting out soon. I think he's coming out soon. But there's a lot of folks in there. And one, Bong for sure. Oh, Bong got a 10-year sentence for Mickey 17. He's definitely in our alligator Alcatraz directorial jail for at least 10 years. Because Mickey 17 is unwatchable. Chazelle for Babylon, he's just getting out. That's why he's making his new movie. He was in there for 3 years. It was a 3-year sentence. Lilo and Stitch, number 6. 7 is Megan 2. Can we just hammer Megan 2 one more time before we're out of here? Let me destroy that film one more time. I hate Megan 2. And Jeff Blum, I savaged him last Sunday. If you haven't watched that stream, go to YouTube, search Midnight Movie Talk, look for Sunday night stream a few days ago. That'd be a week ago. And I just unload on Jeff Blum, one of the biggest frauds in Hollywood. Listen, he went on his Mea Culpa tour about Megan 2 bombing, and you know what he had to say? He had to say nothing about it sucking. That's instantly a fail. He's like, well, the tracking was high, and we thought it could beat Superman. And it's like, dude, your movie's bad. Like, he doesn't even know his movies are bad. How do you imagine? Like, okay, listen, if I got a terrible haircut, right? I came on here and it was like half cut and half not, and I looked like a magenta-haired weirdo. If I just pretended nothing was going on, wouldn't you all go, Weber, what's up with the hair? That's Jason Blum with his movies. He doesn't even recognize the fact that he looks like a clown. I mean, the films do. So Weber's never going to work it. I don't care. Jason, dude, you don't know what you're doing. If you thought that Megan 2 was the answer for a sequel for Megan, the choice you made, then I can't help you. There's the fact that you're one of the biggest producers in Hollywood will go down as like top 10 biggest mistakes Hollywood ever made. Jason Blum, top 5. Oh, I mean, there's others, but he's in the top 5. If you consider all the garbage we've had to sit through from Blumhouse because he has no idea what constitutes a good film, I'll do it every stream. I'll hammer him. Five Nights at Freddy's. Depression, not even fun. Couldn't even go with a Willy's Wonderland, the Nick Cage crazy ass Chuck E. Cheese film. Nothing like that. No, we're going to have everybody really sullen, and it's just no fun. And good job. Nice job. Way to enjoy every one of his films. Jason Blum's got to be depressed. He should be even more depressed after Megan 2, down 63% in its second weekend. We will dance on the grave of Megan 2 as many times as necessary here on MMT, and you will not be able to stop me. Mission Impossible Final Reckoning is now almost identical. By the way, I want some love. Everybody off your seats. Everybody out of your seats. Let's go. I called this film nailing the exact same number as the last one. They're identical. I told you, if it were good, Final Reckoning is not good. Wow, what a just slog of a film, okay? With only like 2 good sequences out of 3 hours. Not as good as the first one, Part 8-1. It's not as good as Dead Reckoning Part 1. Okay, and this is a film that is at the exact same number. I called it. Materialist at 33.5. They'll take that for the total. A24, they like that. And this is Spinal Tap re-entry with 931,000 on the weekend. Okay, there's your top 10. And I will get to comments as I can. I got to roll out of here. I've got a date at the beat. Well, a date playing ball. It's not. Listen, I'm done with that shit. I'm done. I enjoy being a solo flying dude. It is easier in life, allows me to do what I want here and throughout the universe. Thank you so much for being here on MMT. Midnight Movie Money is off the air. I'll see you back here tonight. We'll talk about Superman. Huge trouble. Is Superman about ready to crash? Because these reviews are going to be bad. We'll get into Daily Beast review, all of that tonight on The Big Show. Thanks for being here. Enjoy your Sunday. See you tonight. Peace.